Hello and welcome to the case management video for AIDB. In this video, we are going to show you how to navigate billing setup, documentation creation, class scheduling, outbound referrals, monthly progress reports, individual services, and group services. I'll be following the UAT testing guide for Case Manager. You can open that document and follow along. To start out, we are going to look at the Referrals tab to see referrals that are assigned to us. When we click on the Referrals tab, there will be a number of options here. So please click on My Pending Referrals. You can click this pin to keep this open whenever you click on the referrals list. This is called a list view, by the way. So here I can see the referrals that are assigned to me, as in the referring to staff person. We can see the disability caseload and the intake scheduled date. Today, we're going to work with the Luna Lovegood referral. In a separate guide, we'll talk through the entire intake process. So for this, I'm going to just do the bare minimum for intake. Please refer to that guide for the detailed intake video. For our abbreviated version, I will search for Luna and start an intake with this contact. I can see Luna's contact information, some information that's been brought in through the CSR that came from ADRS, and what I have to select to move forward to the case record is change the status to active in the intake information section, add an active date, and select a primary program location. In this case, I'm going to type in Gentry, select the magnifying glass on the right-hand side, select Gentry Campus. I'm going to add an intake date, a referral type of ADRS, and a disability caseload type of deaf-blind. I'm going to scroll down to the incoming referral information section, and I'm going to change the referral status from pending to services started. Then I'm going to scroll up to the top and press Save and Close. This will take me to Luna's case record. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to select the Billing tab on the case record. Here there is a related list for contract service requests, and there is one contract service request here. When I select that contract service request, I can see all the information that came in from ADRS. I'm going to press the back button to return to the case record. It's time to create a funding authorization, which will set up billing for ADRS. There is a funding authorization button on the case record, which is showing because the funding authorization has not been created yet for this consumer. I'm going to select the funding authorization button, and then a window is popping up. Here I can see CSRs for this client, and I'm selecting Luna Lovegood. I'm going to add a start date of today, and if there were any additional stipends that needed to be granted, I would select those there. Now I press Next. A window comes up saying Save Successful, and when I press Next again, it takes me to the new funding authorization. Now I need to add service category authorizations for each category, billing category that ADRS is authorized billing for. To do this, I'm going to select the new service category authorization button on the upper right-hand side. If I need to reference the ADRS services requested, I can see those on the right-hand side in the CSR services requested box. I can see that this consumer has been authorized for board, so I'm selecting new service category, and then in the service category list, I'm going to select individual room and board with a start date of today. Next, I press Next. I see Save Successful, and I press Next again to save the service category authorization. Now I'm going to repeat this for all service categories that this consumer is authorized to receive by continuing to press the New Service Category Authorization button, select the service category, in this case Assistive Technology, add a start date of today, and press Next again. Save Successful has displayed, so I'll press Next again, and now I can see 2 service category authorizations. I'm going to navigate back to Luna's case record by selecting on the case record in the Details section. Now on the Billing tab, we can see the service category authorizations and the funding authorization. This has now set up the consumer to receive services that will be billed for. A consumer does not need to have a funding authorization to receive services. This merely facilitates the billing process for ADRS. When it is time to close a case record, we do a couple of steps which will automatically close the billing process. So I'm skipping ahead to a consumer being ready to exit. Please note that in order to exit a consumer, we have to have closed all open service plans and goals. In this case, there are not service plans and goals open, but if there were, we would click on the Plans and Notes tab, and we would see service plans here, which we would open and close all goals and close the service plan. Once all service plans and goals have been closed, we are going to edit the case record in order to close the consumer. I select the Edit button, and I see the whole case record section show up. What I must now do is scroll down to the case record status section and change the case record status from active to completed or terminated. I must also scroll down to the key date section and add a close date of today. Now I will save this page. Now my consumer's case record has been closed, and in addition, the CSR now has a status of complete and an end date of the close date that was selected on the case record. The funding authorization I previously created now also has a status of inactive and an end date of the close date on the case record. In addition, all service category authorizations have an end date and of the close date on the case record. And all class period enrollments the consumer was enrolled in also will have a status of inactive and an end date and a close date on the case record. So that is how you set up billing for a consumer. And when you close a case record, it automatically concludes all billing for the consumer. We'll close a case record whenever a consumer is ceasing to receive services at our location. If the consumer is going on to receive services at another location, a new case record will be created and new billing set up. Next, we're going to talk about how to create documentation. Documentation records are used to track and upload documents like the ADRS referral packet, consents, and any other documents collected for the consumer. The documentation related list is on a consumer's case record in the Documentation tab. The second related list here is called Documentation, and when we select New, we have a list of different types of documentation. I'm going to select AIDB documentation and select the Next button. Now I can select a type from the type pick list. Here I will select ADRS referral packet. I'll select a status of completed, and I am going to add my name as the staff person. If I want to set a reminder, if this is a document that expires, I would set an expiration date. I'll select this date for 2021. I click the reminder checkbox and I select the date that I want to be reminded that the document is expiring. If this is all filled out, then I will receive a reminder in my email on the date of reminder. Then I press save. Now I open this documentation record and I can see the details that I added. There's a tab called Files on the record, and when I select that, I can see a related list for files. Here, I can select the Upload Files button, and I can choose a document from my computer to upload. Once I save that document, it will be on the documentation record and accessible to all users. And that is how you add documentation records. The next feature I want to demonstrate is class scheduling. For this, I'm going to go to a consumer that is active since Luna's record was closed. We're going to show this on Sirius Black's record. To schedule a consumer into classes, we need to press the Schedule button on the upper right-hand side. Note that this feature is just for the Gentry location and the Freedom Center location, and the button will not display for regional centers. When I select the Schedule button, I can see any and all classes that a consumer has. Just after intake, a consumer will not be registered for any classes, and the schedule will look blank like it does here on my screen. Now, the first thing we need to do is schedule an as of date. We're doing intake today, and we're going to schedule starting today. So I am leaving the date to its default, which is today. The next thing I need to do is I need to add classes to the schedule. Below the schedule as of date is a field called Service Subject. When I open the drop-down, I can select the class periods that are available at the moment. I'm going to select Assistive Technology. Next, I need to select an instructor in the button to the right. Here, I select Doug Nixon. The next button that opens is the Day button, and this is to the right. Here, I select Monday, and it opens all of the periods available for Assistive Technology with Doug on Monday. I'm going to select 2 and 3 to add Assistive Technology into the second and third periods for Monday for this consumer. Next, I select the Add to Schedule button. The schedule has been updated to show Assistive Technology and in parentheses, add for those 2 periods. I repeat this process for additional subjects. I'm going to select Evaluation with Joel, also on Monday, in period 2. This will overwrite my previous selection for Monday on period 2 when I select Add to Schedule. The third class that I'm going to select is Recreation Therapy. I select an instructor and I select the days. I'm going to select Tuesday through Friday, and I'm going to click period 2. Then select Add to Schedule. I can now see Recreation Therapy has been added to Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday in period 2. Now that I'm done scheduling this consumer for now, I am going to press the button for Save All Changes. This locks in the schedule for this consumer. Below the buttons is a link for Return to Case Record. I'm going to select that Return to Case Record button. This consumer has now been scheduled. If I need to edit this schedule, I simply go back to the Schedule button and select my As of Day. In this case, the consumer has concluded evaluation, and I'm going to select Empty Period and select Monday, period 2 to overwrite my evaluation class and add an empty period. I've selected empty period on Monday and period 2, and now I select add to schedule. And I can see on the schedule that evaluation is ending as of today and the empty period is adding. Then I save all changes. Now this consumer has an empty period scheduled for Monday. Now I will cancel and return to case record since I am done editing the schedule for this consumer. Now that that consumer has been scheduled for classes, they will show up on the attendance page for those periods, and the instructor will be able to take attendance for this consumer. That concludes our demonstration of the scheduling feature. The next thing that I want to show you is how to create a referral. If this consumer has a need outside of the scope of AIDB or needs to be referred to another location, like a regional center, we would create a referral record. To do this, we navigate to the Services tab on the case record, and we scroll down to the referral related list, which is second from the bottom. Here, we select the New button, and a window pops up for a new referral. Now we select which type of referral we want. There are 3 kinds of referrals in your system. We have incoming from external, which we would not use in this case. This is how this type of record is created when ADRS CSRs come through. We can select internal or outbound. An internal referral is for referring to another location of AIDB. An outbound referral is to record a referral we have communicated to the consumer about an external organization. In this case, I am going to select an internal referral. I select next after selecting internal, and I'm taken to a new internal referral record. I have to find the contact record for this consumer by typing in their name to this first field in the information section called contact. I select Sirius Black after I type in that name, and it pops up. I select the referral date, the referral status, which is going to be new in this case, and I'm going to select the referral type, which is other. I scroll down to the internal referral source section. I select my current program, which is adult services. I select my current site, which is Gentry Campus, and I select the site that and my name in the referring to staff section. In the internal referral target section, we can select the program we're referring to, which will be adult services, the location I'm referring to, which in this case is going to be the Talladega Regional Center, and I'm going to select the person, the staff person I'm referring to. So in this case, we would want the case manager of the Talladega Regional Center, but I'm just going to select Susie because not all users are in here yet. I can also add a disability caseload in the referral assignment section, and I can also select any recommended services. In this case, I'm going to recommend AIDB summer work programs. When I press save, this will create a referral record, which will then show up for the Talladega Regional Center's list view on the referral tab of their system. And that concludes my demonstration of how to create referrals. The next feature I want to show you is how to create a monthly progress report. The key part of this progress report is made up of notes that are entered by instructors and other staff. To enter those notes, we click on the Notes and Plans tab, and we see a Progress Notes related list. To add a new monthly progress note, in this case as a case manager, we will press New. There are 3 types of notes: a general note, a monthly progress note, and a review and staffing note. Whenever we want to enter general progress notes, we can select General Note and it will take us to that screen. In this case, we're creating a monthly progress note and we select Next. We're going to enter a date. We're going to add us as the staff person. And then we're taken to the monthly progress report details section where we need to select a note type. In this case, I'm selecting Case Manager Note. Note that instructors will select class notes, student services will select student services notes, etc. I select Case Manager Note. I select the year, in this case 2020. I select the report month, in this case October. I select the number of days in this month that I'm recording this for. And then I scroll down to Support Note in the Progress section and I add my note. Then I press Save. Please note, though, that the other text sections are reserved for instructor notes, but we're using all the same screen. So for a Case Manager note, you enter your note in the Support Note section. When I press Save, it saves this progress note as a monthly progress note for October. Once all of the progress notes have been entered by instructors and other support staff, it's time to create a progress report. To create our progress report, we navigate to the Documentation tab. In the second related list for documentation, we select New. We're going to select the monthly progress report type to generate our progress report. I select that and press Next. Our case record is automatically connected. We're going to skip a status for now, but we're going to add our month that we're doing this report for, in this case October, and our year of 2020. I'm also going to add a document date of today. I'm going to add myself as the staff person. I'm going to say the days and month, and I'm going to note the days interrupted by previously looking at the consumer's interruption history, their interruption history. Once I've entered in all this information, I press Save. This documentation record has now been created. I'm going to open that documentation record, and now I am on the progress report record for the month of October. There's a Generate Progress Report button on the top right-hand side of the page, and when I select that, it opens a new window with a draft of our progress report. This is going to be a preview of our progress report, and we must navigate down to the Continue button in order to download that note. In this preview, we can see the basic information that has been added to the progress note, to the progress report, as well as all of the notes that have been added by case managers and instructors. There's also a monthly class attendance summary. When Continue is selected, a model pops up saying thank you, and a document is downloaded for Sirius Black for his October progress report. When we click back to the previous tab on the documentation record and refresh our page, the files related list will have a copy of this progress report. Now we can always refer back to this here. If we open the document that's been downloaded, we can edit it if we have any final edits to make, as it's a Word document, and then we can send that to the ADRS counselor via email. We can also print that as well. And that concludes my demonstration of progress reports. The other type of progress note I want to demonstrate is a review or staffing note. I'm going to navigate back to Sirius Black's case record by clicking on the case record and the documentation record. Then I select the Plans and Notes tab. In the progress notes related list here, I'm going to select New. There are 3 note types, as I demonstrated before, and before we selected the monthly progress note to add a note about case management for October, Now I'm going to demonstrate the review and staffing note, which is the third selection. When I select Review and Staffing Note and click Next, I am taken to a screen for a review and staffing note. I'm going to enter the date. I'm going to enter my name in the staff lookup, and I'm going to select a note type. My options are one-on-one with staff, one-on-one with consumer, program review, and staffing. In this case, I'm going to select staffing. The next section is called Notes. The first field is titled Participants in Attendance, and here we can write a description of the participants who attended this staffing. The next field is for staff feedback. We can add all of our staff feedback and conclusions from the meeting here. Once we are done entering our staffing note, we can press Save. That concludes my demonstration of how to add a staffing or review note. The next feature I want to demonstrate is how to add one-on-one services with a consumer. To add one-on-one services, we must be on an active case record, and then we select the Record Service button on the top right-hand side. One note about one-on-one services. These are not classes. These are services that are delivered one-on-one to one consumer. When we press Record Service, we're taken to a new list of all of the options we have. We can select Adjustment, Alabama Initiative for Children and Youth who are deaf-blind, Assistive Technology, ATAP, Case Management, Community Video Phone, Employment, Evaluation, ICANN Connect, or UAB NIH Grant. In this case, I'm going to select Case Management. Then I select the Next button. This takes me to a screen for entering our one-on-one service of case management. The date field pops open, and I am going to confirm that this is today with a start time of 9 a.m. If I select the Create Event checkbox, it will add an event for this to our Salesforce calendar. The next section is called Program Site. Here I need to enter the program site that the location that this service occurred. I'm going to type in Gentry and then select the magnifying glass on the right side of the field to select the Gentry campus site. Next, we're taken to the Case Management Units of Service section, which is below Program Site. Here, we're going to select the location of program offices. We're going to enter units of service. In this case, 15-minute increments. I will say there were 2 units of service. We will enter the contact method, which was office visit. And then we can select all of the services that were rendered at this meeting. In this case, counseling, referral, and staffing. In the next section, we have a case note. Here we can add a case note that will be saved as a general progress note on the case record. Lastly, we will enter our staff time by searching for our staff user. We will type in our name and press the magnifying glass, which will bring up our user, which we select. Now we add the units of service. Again, this was 2 15-minute increments and required no prep, so I am just using staff to consumer facing time. This concludes our form, and I'm going to press Save and Close. This takes me back to the case record, and if we click on the Services tab and scroll down to Service Entries, we can see there is a Case Management Service entry, and in the next related list, Direct Services, we can see that a direct service was created for case management on this day. That concludes my one-on-one services demonstration. The final feature I want to demonstrate in this video is how to add group services for this consumer. Now, group services are different from classes in that they could be just one-off groups, and they are not considered classes that are on a schedule. Group services require a group service record. I'm going to look at my group service records by selecting the Group Services tab from the Gentry Freedom Center application. Here I can see recently viewed group services. In this case, I am going to add attendance for the Braille group. I select the Braille group service. This is a previously created group service, but if we wanted to create a new one, instead of selecting one on the Group Services tab, we would just select New. I'll demonstrate that for now. So if we were previously adding attendance for an existing group, we would select that group, but if we're adding a new group that is going to start meeting, we would select New on this Group Services tab. When I select New, I am prompted to enter a group name. I'm going to call this group name Braille December 2020. Or I'll change it to November, actually. Braille November 2020. The next field is Program. Here I need to select the Adult Services program. I next am prompted to add a program site. When I click in this window, I can see the recently viewed program sites, or I can type in the program site and press the magnifying glass. In this case, I am selecting Gentry Campus. I am also going to enter the service provided. When I click on the service provided window and I type in Braille, that option shows up and I select Braille group. I'm going to add a status of active and a start date of today. I can optionally add an end date as well. The next section is description. You can add a description of the group service here. You can also add a recurrence below that. In this case, I'm going to say that this is a daily group. Actually, I will say this is a weekly group on Tuesdays at 8 a.m. The next section, consumer data, has a field called capacity. I'm going to enter 9, which indicates that 9 consumers can fit into this group service. Next, I press save, and this will save my Braille group for November 2020 and take me to that record. Now that I am on this record, I am going to select schedule sessions. This button is on the top right-hand side. When I select that button, I am taken to a form where I must navigate through a number of radio buttons to find the service that I'm providing. In this case, Braille group is the 4th selection, and then I select the next button. Now I am taken to an official scheduling section. I'm going to mimic the selections I made earlier and say that this is a weekly group. This refreshes my form and allows me to select the day. I'm going to select Monday by choosing the day, Monday, and the days of the week, and then selecting the right arrow to choose it into my selection. I'm going to select a start time of 8 a.m., a start date of today, and an end date of December 22nd. I can also add staff assignments below this by pressing Add Row, which will refresh my form and allow me to look up a user. In this case, I am scheduling this for myself by typing in my name and pressing the magnifying glass, then selecting my user record. I'm selecting a start date of today, an end date of 12/22/2020, and a status of active. Now I must press apply in that section to confirm this staff assignment. Now that I've added my scheduling information and my staff assignment, I can press save and close, which will save this scheduling. To observe these scheduled sessions, we click on the Sessions tab, and we can see that group service entries were created every Monday at 8 a.m. during the dates selected. My next step is to add clients. To do this, I select the Add Clients button, which is on the upper right-hand side of the group service record. It will default to enrolled clients, and next I select the Adult Services program. Now I select the Search button, and the form will refresh showing all enrolled clients in Adult Services. I'm going to select a couple of clients to take attendance for by pressing the checkboxes to the left of their name in the existing enrolled clients list. Now I can see in this enrolled clients list the client name, the client household, and then the case name and the program. The most important field is the primary program site. We'll want to select students who are enrolled at the program site that we are providing this service at. Now that we've selected our clients, we navigate to the Save button and we press Save. There is now a piece of text in search results saying 7 assignments have been added to the Braille November 2020 group. Next, I press the Close button to take me back to the group service. To view the roster that I've now added, we can view the roster tab on the group service record and see the group service assignments we've created for our 7 consumers. Now that we've scheduled our sessions and added our clients to our group service record, we can record attendance. In this case, I'm going to record attendance for the first day of class. I click on the Sessions tab of the group service record, and I can see all of my group service entries. I select Record Attendance next to the date time that I want to record attendance for. In this case, I'm selecting Record Attendance on the 5th record for 11/23/2020. This opens a new tab in my browser for taking attendance for this session. I am prompted to confirm the date time of this session, which was the 23rd. I will also select a service type of Braille. I can select activities as well. In this case, it's training. The next section is staff time. I can see any staff members that have been added here. In this case, I can see myself, and I can add units of service, which is 15-minute increments. I'm going to say this was 4 units of service today. The next section is called Master Units of Service. In this section, we can select client attendance and location. This will then add values to all of the services, to all of the attendees below, which we can then edit on an individual basis. I'm going to select attended in client attendance. And then I'm going to select the location of program offices. The form has now updated to give all clients in the individual units of service section a client attendance of attended and a location of program offices. It has automatically assigned them 4 units of service. What we now need to do is edit the client attendance and location for anyone whose attendance and location differ. In this case, I am going to say that my first attendee, Bruce, was tardy, and my second attendee was absent. I can do this for any consumers whose attendance differs from the value I selected above in Master Units of Service. I can also edit the location for individual consumers. In this case, Cindy Luhu attended this group service through distance learning, so I will make that selection. Now that I have edited all of my attendance, I can scroll down and add a session note for the whole session that will be saved to the session record. Now that I've added a note and I've added attendance, I am going to save and close. This now has taken attendance for this day of class, of group service, and it has created attendance records for all of the students who I took attendance for, some with a status of attended, some with tardy, some with absent. And that concludes my demonstration of how to create a group service record, schedule sessions, add clients, and record attendance. That is my whole training for case management. There are other trainings to address different aspects of our functionality, and I invite you to look at the videos and also look at the testing guides. The testing guide for this video is going to go into more detail and lay out each individual selection and step in detail. I encourage you to work through that testing guide on your own time and refer to this video when you have questions. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope that you have a great day. Thank you. Bye.